Liquid Death with Mark Brickey here.
I appreciate it, man. I know you'd rather have a straight tall boy, but being with a straight edge guy, I appreciate it.
Well, and it's Sunday, so it's been a lot of the other drinks all weekend, so kind of over it. It's water time.
Oh, it is water time for sure. You know, it's been so amazing get the world slowly getting back to normal.
Yeah.
But this weekend definitely has like a family reunion vibe to it.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, you know, the Lincoln guys, you guys all figured out when it felt good to go back to the office.
Yep.
Me and the VG guys, we figured out our, like, each little bubble figured out when it felt right.
Totally.
But this weekend's like all those bubbles coming back together. And it's just like, in many ways, overall it's been amazing to see everybody.
Yeah.
But there's been a sadness because it just reminds you of how much time we lost.
Yeah.
Which is wild, right?
Absolutely.
But it's been good to see you guys, and like it feels like Lincoln's like just like a lot of us, we're survivors, right?
Yeah.
So we used the worst year ever to bring out the best in us.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's been a great year for us, and I mean, we couldn't be happier to be back. Like you said, I feel like, you know, everyone's like, oh, it's great you guys are back, and it's like, yeah, shit, it was 2019 when we were here with the trailer, and you were doing, you know, podcast in the trailer and the whole thing, you know. So it's weird. It's weird to be sitting here with you. It's great, you know.
Yeah.
And talking to you, because, you know, throughout the pandemic, we were kind of like, shit. Like, my biggest thing with when the pandemic hit, I was like, how am I going to still stay in front of my clients?
Yeah.
You know, because we used to kind of travel around to different clients, you know, at the beginning of the year, just get in front of their face, and I'm like, oh, shit, that's gone, you know? So that's where we're like, okay, we need to get on YouTube and at least just keep our faces out there and kind of keep talking about it, you know?
I think it's so forward thinking to take your studio and, in a way, make it a reality show, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not fighting with housewives over on Bravo. But really to take people into your world. And I think it's so important because I've talked about this from the very first time we met in a hotel in Long Beach, right?
Long Beach, yeah. No shit, yeah. ASR, right?
Yeah, ASR, going way back.
Way back.
I said to you, you know, what you're doing is you're creating the Bones Brigade of graphic design and illustration.
That's always stuck with me.
And I think that it's so true because Lincoln symbolizes that daydream that so many people have. What if me and my buds could work our asses off and make this happen and do good work together, right? And like it was such a wild prediction because it just becomes more and more true every year, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. That was great. And the first time you ever said that to me, I'm like, oh, I never thought about it like that.
It was the first thing I saw because that's been such a driving force in our lives. You know what Stacy Peralta did with that. But you guys were doing that for design. And so you guys, you know, bringing on a video guy. Shout out to Jake. I wish he could be here with us. It's so cool that now you're going to give people more a look into what that daydream actually looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's fun. I'm not like, when we first did the video thing, I'm kind of like, dude, I'm not the guy to be on camera. Like, I don't enjoy it, you know. But you saw it with doing the you know, being on all your podcasts. You were kind of always like, you guys are getting a little more comfortable, you know. Each one gets a little more, a little better, you know. So
it's just a weird thing because I think as a designer, we're so hard on ourselves, right? And there's so much. Like I was just talking to Gary Baseman, right? I mean, who's had a better career than him? And he's like, oh, full on it. I have imposter syndrome. And then we all have that. So I think when you get in front of a camera or you start doing podcasts or anything like that, there's a voice in your head. It's like, my cynics. What is the cynic? Like, if I don't get it out properly, people are going to destroy it. And then you realize that trolls are trolls, but largely we're all so similar, you know? And whatever Lincoln's story is and what you're telling, it's going to resonate with so many people because they're feeling it on a smaller or larger scale. Like, I always try to tell my guests, I'm like, we all feel really, really special, but none of us really are.
Right.
Because we're so relatable, you know? Like, there are things that make us individuals, but we are a pack animal. So I'm excited you guys are getting into this. You know, I love just seeing the constant evolution of what you guys do. And I think you guys give people a great reminder of no matter how busy you get, and I know you guys are busy, always find time to design for you, right? And that's been the cornerstone of your success.
It absolutely has. And it's a struggle every week, every month. And that's where, when we started doing the video and the chop up, I'm like, dude, this has to be no more than 2 hours a day one day a week. Like that's all I can kind of dedicate towards this thing, you know. So it's kind of like run and gun, and we do it. And the idea was, let's keep it loose. Like we're gonna sit down, talk, show, you know, client stuff that we've done, packaging, whatever it is, and it's worked. People are loving it. So.
And I think there's a thing where you got to keep in mind who's your customer, and that's what we know as designers.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
The way that you guys handle a skateboard is going to be a little bit different than a big drop for Nike, right? Like it's similar, but it's also very different.
Yeah.
And who is your customer? Who's going to click play on a video about Lincoln? Yeah. Somebody that's passionate about design. Yeah. Somebody that's in that same world. So the delivery is perfect because it's not like you're trying to explain this to brain surgeins, right? It's people that you could be like, well, you know how Illustrator is. Like, yeah, I do know how Illustrator is. You know, I mean, it's. And I always tell people, nice. I've always told people before interviews, dive into the minutia, because these people live the minutia. And the more in depth you guys get, the more successful we'll be. So it's not even about the delivery; it's about the content. Yeah, true. Because your content is king, right? Yeah. And so many people want to learn from you guys. Yeah. So my question is this: when are we doing Lincoln Design Co. education?
Ooh, it's coming.
Is
it's coming. We've had a ton of requests for it, and it's coming. That's kind of going to be the 2022 kind of goal. Yeah. You know? We had a lot of goals in 2021, and we hit pretty much every one of them. So 2022, by mid-year, the end of year, we will have classes. I also want to do, this is my thing, I'm like, cool, let's do classes, let's do some online stuff that people can buy. But to me, just like with all of our design work and shit, like I want a physical product, I want to design physical products and see that thing. So I too am like, okay, we'll do the online classes and we're going to do it right, and they're going to be great, and you can buy them, download them, or however it is. But at the same time, we're about to move studios. I want a studio big enough that 3 months out of the year in the summer, we do like an in-house, like 25 people, students, whoever wants to sign up. They come out, and we figure out where they stay, but there's like in-person classes, like at the studio. They can come up for a day, chill, basically watch the studio, see what we're doing, whatever. So
that is such a good idea.
So that's my goal, but
I did a thing, I did like 3 or 4 sessions of it. I call it training camp. Yeah. And so for 10 weeks, I taught people the business side of freelance. Yep. And I started from like it was fundamental stuff, but you and I both know you have to have a solid foundation for everything else to grow. Yeah. And a lot of my friends do Skillshare and all that stuff, and those are fine platforms. Yeah. But there's something about getting, I would always maximize it at 10. Getting 10 people on a Zoom call, and I do my little 20-minute opening lecture explaining that week's discipline. How every mistake you make, it goes into your contract. Every time a client burns you, they're doing you a favor because you'll never get burnt again. Yeah. And that's how you start adding the clauses into the contract. So I'd give them examples, I'd show them my contract, and I'd just say, each one of these is a lesson learned the hard way. Yeah. But you learn it one time, and then it doesn't repeat itself. And to me, afterwards, and what you'll find with doing your Lincoln University, or whatever we call it, it's like, you'll be able to work through the people and problem solve. And like digital distribution's great, but one-on-one is always paramount. Yeah. And that's what we're doing this weekend. Like people can see this stuff online. Yeah. You guys have a nice camera. You own white backgrounds. They can see
exactly.
It's the tactile experience, and then talking to Dustin or Damaso or Brandon or you, or Jordan, whoever made it. Not David because he's not here with us, but whoever's there, it's that experience that makes it more than a patch. It makes it a memory.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm pumped you're doing that. Oh, I love this. I love this predictable Lincoln world, man. It's so good.
I didn't tell you that. You just pulled that out. Really?
Pulled it right out of my ass.
Because I was like, oh, maybe I already told you about this.
Breaking news.
Yep. And like you said, it's like, we've been in the industry for 20 plus years. So it's like over those 20 years, you learn a lot of shit. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are getting into it that now it's great. They have access to like buy a course or do a course from like myself or you or whatever.
But who it's really good for though is the guy that's been doing it 5 or 10 years and feels lost. Right. Because you and I have so much life experience that it just can't be taught other than somebody who's done it before, you know?
Totally.
And I mean, we're just old enough of the generation that we are the pioneers that sort of forged the path for what, we saw House Industries or whatever. Like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I want to do that.
I want to go do it. Yeah. So I'm excited you guys are doing that.
Man. Yeah, it'll be cool.
So I know in the last year or so, you've kind of positioned the company where, you know, the corporate clients are coming in harder and harder. And, you know, we don't want to deny that that's the way that we want to go. It creates that financial foundation for doing other things. When you get to that tier in your career, how do you start treating things like, you know, skateboard art, and, you know, the things that we love, but maybe don't pay as much? Like, is it a rhythm of trying to figure out, like, how much of that do we still do, but not so much of it that we don't have time to do the other things? Like, it's a fine line to walk, right?
It is, and it's kind of challenging. And it's one of those things where I always want to hold on to that stuff. Only so much of it, you know. But like you said, it can't be 30-40% of the company and the workload, you know, for that week. Like, it doesn't pay the bills, you know. So it's kind of a fine line I walk. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to lose that stuff, because, you know, the guys here, myself, like Brandon loves doing skateboards, right? They don't pay well at fucking all, but we're constantly still doing boards for Tony Hawk and Dark Star and stuff like that, you know. So to me, it gives the guys like a break from some of the other, you know, bigger clients, maybe not as rad, you know, packaging, you know, sketches that Brandon does for this whole packaging deal for Comic-Con. You know, Brandon's like, cool, you know, great, I'll do this project, it'll be cool to see it in the end, but in reality, I want to do a skateboard next week, you know?
Right.
So I try and juggle it where it keeps everybody hyped and fresh and everything. Even with, like, High Street Deli, we stopped on our way down, went over there, sat down with them, you know, at their place, did a video, chop up, and, you know, small client like that, freaking cool. Like, some of the funnest projects come from those clients, you know? So I'm always going to juggle that, you know, kind of keep those big core corporate clients, but then always leave time for the smaller projects.
And it's so important to have that balance, right? Like,
it is.
For Brandon to, like, decompress on a skateboard for Tony or whatever, like, because that's our entry point, and that's where the passion lies. And there is a lot of fun in doing the corporate work, because it's the mental challenge of illustration. You know, it's like there's got to be an intersection somewhere where fine art touches commercial art. And so when you're in that world and you're doing that problem solving, it's fun, but it's a fatiguing type of fun. Whereas ripping a deck is just like, you know, once you know that the client's on board and you're just digging the ditch, you're just happy as a pig in shit while you're doing it. You know?
Exactly.
So that balance is cool, and I think everybody, whatever their business is, they gotta find that balance, because, you know, if you guys just turn your back on skateboarding or all those things that built the company, where's that entry point for that new kid to find Lincoln, to go to Lincoln University, to buy the patch, to buy the t-shirt? Like, it's so important that we all have, like, a product that is still approachable to that entry point person in our world. Like, you see a lot of guys lose sight of what got them to where they're at, and that's normally the first chapter in the end. You know, and becoming something different than what they set out to be.
And that's where skateboarding was the first thing. You know, it was my first design job at DC Shoes. You know, so, and some of the first, like, cool fun projects we did at the old studio. When we hired Brandon, the first project he ever did was skateboard graphic for us, you know.
That's awesome.
And then it's been the next, you know, 16 years of Brandon working for me, doing skateboard graphics every single fucking year.
And it's like, you can't turn your back on the cornerstone of your business. Like, for me, you know, I'm going to be hitting 1,500 podcasts soon. And I've been covering the world of design since 2012. We put up the first episode, so January is the 10-year anniversary.
Oh, shit.
And
we need a 10-year logo?
I do need it. Maybe I know somebody.
Come on.
Maybe I know somebody. But for me, it's like, you know, I have to grow as a creative, but I can't turn my back on design. So I've been dipping my toes in all these different waters. And, like, you know, I got a lot of big moves to make in 22, because I've doubled my business. I'm still one guy. And, you know, I've just found a couple other things to get into. So a lot, like, when I see you guys still trying to find time for, like, skate and sport and stuff in your design, that's me for my core product too. You know, I got to find a way to not lose that, because that's my identity. That's my passion. But it just gets hard fitting it all in, especially when you kind of feel like, you know, I've maybe peaked in this world. And diversity, as we know, is king in keeping the cash coming in.
Totally.
So, like, you know, I was doing the design world and just interviewing designer after designer, and it's really cool, because I have this gift of, I now have had all these conversations with all these people. Both what we say on the microphone and what you guys say when we're hanging out afterwards.
Absolutely.
And I've experienced that, you know, 100 times over. And so, like, I have this world where I see the overlapping pattern of creative success. And then that got me wondering, What's it like when I talk to people that make movies?
Yeah.
What's it like when I talk to directors or cinematographers or set decorators or, you know, actors, comedians, and all that stuff. So I'm going to take this foundation of learning of the actual creative process and just start talking to so many different people, because
Cool.
I'm finding out that fun foundation is pretty much the same. But, you know, we're at the end of a year, right? Which, if you're good at business, as it starts to slow down, the brain starts thinking about next year.
What's happening?
So, what's some of the big things that you want to take out in the next year?
Us?
Yeah, for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Lincoln University type stuff is on the plate, and that is a goal to finish in 2022.
Yeah.
Moving the office, we brought on, basically doubled the size of the team in 2021. So we're bursting at the seams at the current office, so we're going to get a new office. Yeah, we got a bunch of shit. And there are a couple more hires going to happen in early 2022 that we need to get in-house. So, as well as with, you know, we brought Frankie on as our animation guy, freaking killing it. We're getting Jake on as our video dude. So those two dudes, like, together, like, I think it is going to be huge in 2022 for us to basically grow the animation division as well as the videography division, and kind of those two working together. Like, I have high hopes for, like, that thing to take off. And
which, once again, shows how you're visionary in that, you know, we're good at 2D.
Yeah.
But this is a multimedia, multidisciplinary world we're going into.
Yeah, it's only getting more and more.
So putting your foot in all of those areas is great, but I think a hire that probably nobody will ever see and won't be like the rad person that everybody wants to meet at Decon is you're bringing on people to help you out with administrative stuff.
So I brought on project manager.
And
finally.
I think out of everything, knowing you and knowing your job and having had your job before and being amazed at how you can juggle everything, like, I think that's going to be one of the biggest game changers, because I don't know how you've done what you've done, Dan, for so long.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that it will go underappreciated by many.
Right.
The project management skills you have of creating this body of work, managing these guys, all these different personalities. We're all creatives and we all suck. We're hard to work with.
Yep.
And figuring out how to manage that. I don't know how you've done it for this long. And so I'm thinking about it this way. If you've been able to accomplish this with your Popeye arms tied behind your back, what's it going to be like when you actually have time to, like, mind map where you need to be the next 3 months, or to actually step back and say, all right, we're doing this thing, X, Y, and Z needs to be done. Like, I'm excited to see that evolution of Lincoln, man.
Yeah, I am too, because I've never stepped back, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just...
You're looking at it like this all the time.
Yeah, I'm just up in the shit full time, you know, and just trying to make enough time for everything and fit in shit like this, you know, with the work schedule and everything. So it's going to be huge. I think she's going to be, she's going to be an amazing addition to the team. I've just seen it with this trip down here. Yeah. Having someone having my back for emails and client conversations and shit as I'm fucking driving the RV. I'm like, hey, Candace, can you, check out, can you handle this real quick? And yeah, so good.
I wish I could have seen Candace's face when those clipboards on the wall.
Oh,
like,
shit.
This is the system. I'm gonna pay money to see that. But, another, like, compliment to give you how you're running your shop is there's new guys coming on the team. And, when I say guys, I mean Candace and everybody. But you guys, in talking to Dustin and I had a heart-to-heart about this in the RV yesterday, you guys really care about the culture of Lincoln. Yeah. So it's not only does the work have to be on spec, but does that personality fit into ours? I think a lot of people get really busy and they start focusing on growth. If your business isn't growing, it's dying. Yeah. And I think it needs to be a focus on a functionality of, does this person fit in the trenches with us? Because one bad apple does ruin the bunch. Oh. And if you get a toxic personality in your workspace, and then you spend all your time talking about how that person sucks, that's all the time you should be talking about how the business should grow, For sure. I really commend how you guys have been trying to make sure we've got something special here, Who else do we let into the club? That's important, man.
Yeah, and it's been kind of tough. I mean, we were trying to hire 3 people at once, 3 positions for an illustrator, videographer, and then a project manager. And interviewing all these people, it was definitely something that was like the key part of this 50% of the whole thing in this person is whether they fit and can come on a trip like this and kind of hang out with everybody, you know, and do the work and talk to people and present, you know, the company and everything. So it was a challenge. We went through a lot of, you know, different interviews for the project manager. You know, Jake's coming on as the videographer, and like he's amazing, but same time, I've never really hired anybody without them like spending a day at the studio or spending time with them in person, you know. So
important.
Yeah, we have an illustrator guy that we flew out. He spent a couple days at the studio, so we'll kind of see if that works out. But I'm not hiring really anybody just off of a Zoom call and then like, oh hey, yeah, it sounds good, okay, you got the job. Like, no, come in the studio, see what we do, hang out with everybody, you know, let's talk, let me get what they think of that person, you know.
That shows your leadership right there. Like, how do you guys feel about it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's your decision. But how does my team feel about it? Because we know so many people that are in toxic work environments. And like, you and I always being DIY guys and running our own thing, like, you meet people that work for these places that on paper it sounds glamorous. And oh man, you work there, and they go, and then the first thing I go is like, oh, it's only a glamorous product, but it's a shit show on the other side. And you just meet these people that have jobs that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I cut my arm off to work there. You're like, you don't want to work there. It's a miserable place to work. Like, I'm not going to say for sure which way it is or not. So my goal was, as an illustrator at the end of my career, I'm like, if I could work for Disney long enough to always brag about saying I work for Disney, but not long enough to learn if it sucks or to learn if I hate it, that would be the sweet spot. 4 projects, and then I said I didn't want to work for them anymore. Like, nobody tells us that. Like, no, I just wanted to do it long enough to say that I did it, and not so long enough to like carry around a burden. And they were always nice to me, but you just never know. And what I learned from the music business, careful who you meet, because a lot of bands got ruined for me by meeting the people inside of those bands. People are like, oh, I love this band. Like, oh, they're fucking jerks. But that's up to you. And you've never hung out with them backstage and realized like, these guys are toxic. But when I heard that, it's just like I always sound like an infomercial for you guys, but like in my mind, there's a chapter of my life where I'm doing just this. But I've been so passionate about so many things that like I went down the road of being you, and I realized this is fucking hard, and I bailed. So seeing it like materialize, and like you literally have built the business that I dreamed of that Bones Brigade mentality, of doing all this great work, of getting corporate clients, but not having it ruin the culture of the company. Like, you just slay it, man. And I'm so happy to be a small part of it, to be on the inside of the family, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Can we arm wrestle? I want to see. I want to arm wrestle you right now.
Arm wrestling.
Come on, let's do it. I know you're going to kill me, but I want to see how long I can hang. I want to do an over the top on the side. This should be a thing where you arm wrestle everybody.
Everybody?
Yeah.
I don't want to arm wrestle Frankie. We've
Are you
already
ready?
talked about this. Yeah, you ready?
Let me hang for a minute before you crush me, right?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I don't have a chance! I don't have a chance! Oh my god! Why did I do that?
Oh shit! Come on! Come on!
Dude, I tried to hang.
No.
Jeez. That's what you get for trying to walk in Dan's world.
Shit.
Dude, seriously. So good seeing you guys.
Dude, how many interviews did we do? We've done like 7? Right?
I mean,
Is it 7
total
or 8?
recordings, and then also, remember when you did Fired Festival with me with the D?
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
When we, World's Falling to Shit.
Right, yeah.
I did that all day.
Yeah, you did that. You were one of the first ones to jump on that.
I did that all day, like virtual seminar, just basically being like,
right away.
Take this time to make it the best.
That was
year
a great
of your
idea.
life.
Yeah, because everyone's getting laid off, and
I think we've probably hit close to 10.
Yeah, we must have. Yeah.
But we still have another 10 in us.
We do. Absolutely. I want to get you up to the office. I'm gonna wait now until we get the new office. But I definitely want you to come out. We'll hang out for a couple days.
That'd be awesome.
You know, that'd be cool.
Hang out with the team, make some content together, see how it's all done.
Actually, get your what's his name, your buddy up there, and do the Gambler 500 again. We were talking about it on the way up here. Well, Jake's a car dude, so we're like, okay, we got to do the Gambler 500 for sure. So you've done it.
Yeah.
So
I did it.
Let's do it again. We'll have 2 cars.
I did it in the Geo Metro with the artist Dan Stiles, who's amazing.
Yeah, Dan Stiles. That's right.
And like,
he's
you know, I just sat in the car. Dan fucking carved the wheel wells out, put a suspension in there, bought tires for it. Like Dan really like built it and made it happen. But man, if you guys are doing it, and I could get Dan, 'cause the next year he did it in a convertible Miata. I'm like, yo, I ain't doing it in a convertible.
No.
I need, that's like camping.
That'd
for
be
2
rough.
days.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, one of the greatest things about that event is we had some problems with our wheel wells. They were rubbing.
I remember that. You went to leave.
Yeah, they were rubbing,
oh,
and so they started rubbing even more. And so I woke up with like you tent out, you like camp out in a tent, you know, where all of these maniacs are. And so Dan's like, you know, grinding on the wheel well like 8 o'clock in the morning because he's a go-getter. And these guys love fixing shit, right? So a guy comes and goes, "I'd be easier if you had this tool. Let me go get mine." So he comes back with this tool and they're in there doing it and they're working on it. So they like work together for like 90 minutes on this. And I wake up and I'm like, this is just male bonding at its finest. 2 strangers, you know, like I'm pretty sure this guy just vote the way that we vote. Like they're working on this car together in the middle of it, like a ripped apart America. And it was so awesome because the part of the story that's amazing, the whole time this guy was helping him out, he was wearing a Duff Beer Halloween costume.
Oh,
we only saw his face in
really?
the top of a beer bottle.
Oh,
and they're like, working on it and doing it. And we called him Duff Man for the rest of the weekend because the dude literally helped us work on our car dressed like a fucking beer bottle.
That's great.
That's the type of people you're going to meet.
That sounds amazing.
If you do it, I'm in.
Sign me up.
If you guys do it, I'm fucking in.
We got to figure out if we're going to do it in like a Lincoln Continental or or what. Or we go like some kind of truck or something. I don't know. We'll see.
My old man is from Louisville, Kentucky, and he grew up in you know, like a crazy ass neighborhood where when guys started making money, the prestige that you could get would be like a Cadillac or a Lincoln. And so when my dad started making money and be like live in the suburbs, my dad buys this huge silver Lincoln Continental.
Big ass,
And I'm like,
those are so
I always thought like this is such a weird car for our neighborhood for my dad. But like as you get older and you start making money and you start trying to buy those things that you wanted when you were like 12, 15 years old, I now understand like my dad just wanted to be one of the guys in the neighborhood with the Lincoln Continental.
That's sick.
And then he traded it off for a big ass pickup truck.
Did he?
But it's like he had to at least cross that fantasy off the list.
Cool.
Dan, always good hanging out with you, buddy.
Thank you, Mark.
My fucking arm is killing me.
Right on, buddy. Thank you.